So I wanted to get into Bloodmarked first. So if you tuned into my last video, I did a full recap on Legendborn, the first in the Legendborn series, the first book in the Legendborn series with Tracy Deonn. And today we're going to get into Bloodmarked. So a couple of things on the agenda. I'm so excited to talk to you guys about this. I'm ready to pick up Oathbound. I have not read that one yet by Tracy Deonn, which is the third book in the series. But I did want to give you guys a good little recap. You guys could jump in fresh, understanding where everything is going on. Let's get into the synopsis really quick. I'm going to read it. So in Bloodmarked, Bree Matthews is no longer just a girl who submitted into a secret society. She's the scion of Arthur, bound by ancient bloodlines and black ancestral magic. As she struggles to control her powers and uncover the truth about her lineage, Bree is betrayed by the very order she was supposed to lead. Forced on the run with her closest allies, she unravels secrets of Rootcraft, demons, and generational trauma. With enemies on all sides, including the king inside her head, Bree must decide what kind of leader or weapon she's willing to become. All right, so jumping right into it, the minute that Bree figures out she's King Arthur's scion and Nick is Lancelot, and her and the three of them, I really want to call them a trio right there, Nick, Sel, and Bree. They are now creating a super dynamic here, right? We have Sel, who is the Merlin scion, and we have Nick, who is King Arthur's bestie, his knight, which is Lancelot, and we have Bree, which is King Arthur herself. But don't forget, she also has her Rootcraft magic. So it's just like a double-headed dragon of magic inside of her. She's battling with them both and trying to figure out everything. Obviously, 16-year-old little girl Bree is just phenomenal in this situation because she's here battling these two strong powers that are so ancestral that are really trying to take over her life. And so once the order figures out that obviously she's King Arthur, and she pulls out the sword Excalibur, and she's just so amazing, it doesn't sit well with the order. In the beginning of the book, we see that supposedly she needs protecting over, and they take her as well as her friends, Alice, Sel, and a couple of other people, and they hide them in this place. But we do know that Nick was kidnapped. Nick being kidnapped, and his bestie, Sel, and his girl, Bree, just not okay with this, and they end up breaking out of the Order's secret space after they realize the Order's not that safe, and they go ahead and they try to break Nick out of his imprisonment, which was actually his father's. So crazy. How do you kidnap your own son? It's weird. That's pretty much what happens in the beginning. And she's really going through, Bree is what I'm talking about. She's really going through a lot trying to balance these two big ancestral magics in her mind. So while she's at the cabin away that the Order has her and her friends at, she's going in and out of these meditative third eye states with her ancestors. And she's learning a lot about what caused her initial bloodline, her mother's bloodline, to have that root magic and where it came from. She does encounter a specific ancestor, Vera, and Vera is pretty much where it all started. So we find that out also in Bloodmarked, is how her root magic and what her ancestors did to get a part of that type of magic and that type of bond, and where it's really stemming from. This book was a lot more exciting than the first book. I was really just eating it up, honestly. It was back-to-back action scenes, back-to-back. If you're looking for a book that's gonna give you romance, magic, and action, fighting, kidnapping, this is definitely the book for you. I'm totally into it for that. They end up finding out that the Order is totally against them. The regents and the mega guards come during a ceremony where Bree is supposed to take over the King Scion and get her rights led to her and to take all the oaths and everything like that. And they ended up kidnapping her and putting her in this safeguard I imagine it looking like some dystopian concrete compound, almost just where they're going to just be experimenting on her and trying to suck her magic out of her. They also accuse Selwyn of treason. They kidnap Bree and take her to this place, which we later find out is the same place that Nick is at. And we find out that they were never going to acknowledge her claim. So they were just playing along just to get her closer and closer to where they wanted to be so that they can, I guess, do whatever they were going to do with her magic. I think that the reason why they weren't going to do that is because it would cause them now to actually have to explain how deep the racism is within their compound, within their order. And it was never going to be a thing. And we later on do find out how far enslaving and everything goes within their order and within their history. And they would have to completely acknowledge that. And we know these people were not about to do that. They were not going to do that. And so they just decided to kidnap her and try to figure out what they were going to do with her later, I guess. And she ends up escaping. And her and Selwyn and Alice, I think Alice breaks her out, right? They all escape and they set off to find a safe haven. So the escape is with Bree, Selwyn, Sel, aka Chaos, my favorite character, and William the healer. So we have William the healer, which I don't really talk about him too much in the other video, but I do love him. He's such a softie. And the team just basically goes along to find Nick before the regents can find him and to quickly get to him. But they end up just being on the run for a while and going through a couple of things, right? So to introduce a new character, Valak. So Valak is somebody that Bree encounters on this journey while they're on the run. And Bree just basically really ends up getting so much from Valak because he is half demon, half human. And he has this super cool lounge that if you kind of situation. And basically he ends up being a mediator, middle person for humans and demons and helps people just get what they need, but more from the dark side. So it is a very thin line in terms of being the demonic side and everything is really so good or bad. But he's more of just like that oracle, like that future kind of person to me, where it might be good, it might be bad, but it's kind of like what you do with it. So anyways, I love Valak. I thought he was just a real cool guy. He had a mysterious edge to him. And then he ends up really helping Bree understand the depth of her magic and how she can really try to figure out a way to make it more work for her, right? And so Valak also helps Bree see something that Sel was hiding from her. And although I love Sel, boo, why did you do this? You should have just trusted my girl. So basically, it starts to get a little steamy between Sel and Bree, which I did call. I knew there was going to be something. I just love a good enemies to lovers trope. I just do. And although it's a little weird and it's a little complicated because there's a little bestie involved in this one, so it's a bit of a triangle, I will say that Sel, I could understand it. He ends up lying to her, and not literally lying, but he basically has been using the source, demon source, so much that he's going towards demon more than anything. And this is actually changing his appearance. And he's been hiding that appearance from Bree. So he's been masking himself. He's been making it seem as though he looks a bit more human than he really does. I guess in this series, if you are demonic or you're of Merlin and you're really using those demonic powers a lot more than you should be or a lot more often, which I mentioned before, he's protecting all of them so much and he's so strong, but he does pull a lot from the source and it's making him have this conflict with himself because it does pull him towards that more demon, horrible side. So he ends up just lying to her about it, and his feelings for her, I guess, kind of muddied how insecure he was about how he looked, which was another little soft spot for me because I get it. I get that she's even new to the whole entire world. So for her to even be as accepting so quickly of how he would look would be a little scary, and he probably just didn't have that much faith in her, but he should have known. Bree just don't play that about her people, and if you show up for her, she's gonna show up for you. That's Bree. Also, I realized that losing Nick because that was his best friend, and not losing, he doesn't die, but just the fact that he can't find him and he's supposed to be his protector, and he grew up with him and he's his best friend, and probably the feelings that he's having for Bree is just making him teeter on the edge. He's going almost full demonic at that point. He's losing it in the book. In Bloodmarked, I was just reading it and I was like, wow, I hope that they can figure something out for him, because this would just be horrible if he just goes full demon and nobody helps him. He's always helping everybody. All right, so by the end of the book, and I'm just jumping to this part because this was really crazy. It was a twist that I did not see coming. I was like, wait, I kind of felt like it was a lot that Arthur would just be so aggressively taking over her body when they were in trouble, but I really thought like it was just protecting my heir or whatever. But Arthur literally was gaining all this power, gaining a lot more power every time, taking over her body a little bit more, and just being more aggressive to me. And from the beginning, I wanted her to lean more into her rootcraft. I felt like that was just her real ancestors. That's your people, you know what I mean? They're clearly here to be protecting you. And I just felt like Arthur was just being a lot. He was just doing things without really consulting her, and we see it just really blow up at the end. So Arthur ends up completely taking over Bree's body at the end and throws everything into chaos. So that whole time that he was eating off of her root magic and basically just using that root magic to make himself stronger, and then eventually takes over her entire body and starts fighting when the regents come. And of course it's helpful that he has that and he's able to take over the body, because it's not like she had that much control over it. But a lot of it was, to me, just like she needs to learn. And I understand that she's just in a really bad position right now. So you just need to take over. You want to take the order back and you want to do all this stuff. You don't understand who these new people that are running your order are. I got that, but she's not a doll. And it was out of line for Arthur to do what he did. And it ends up making a lot of the people that she cares about hurt. So Alice ends up getting hurt at the end, injured. So hopefully it's not too bad. And Cell is taken down by Bree/Arthur. And why? Maybe Arthur just sees him as a threat and doesn't understand that he's really just a good person. It's just that this demonic side is really taking over him. So, and it's almost like he wants to get caught by the regents. He wants to go back to the regents so that I guess he can claim his heir and just do what he wants to do with the order. Which to me is like, there's a whole team and they're already infiltrated by whatever darkness that they are infiltrated by. And I don't think that Arthur is thinking clearly or trusting in Bree very well. And that was just like, what the hell? I was like, oh no, this is not happening. So when this all happens, Nick and Cell end up going into the dream world. And they have to fight through so much. They are fighting their way, just trying to get to Bree. And when they finally do get to her, bro, she's a dragon. She's a freaking dragon. What does that mean? Where is that coming from? How does she turn into a dragon in the dream? I don't know. I don't even know what this means. It's like dream world, but it's a real world. And it was just crazy. And they leave us there. We don't know what it means. We don't know where it's at. Hopefully we're going to find that out in Oathbound. And I wonder if it is another ancestral thing we have going on here. Where is that coming from? I don't know. We're only in book 2. The world building is getting there. It's happening. So I'm excited for it. But I love a good dragon. Any of my Fourth Wing fans here with me? All right, it's not full-blown dragon like a dragon in the actual real world, but in the realm it is, and I'm here for it. All right, so the moment you guys have all been waiting for. I know you guys were like, we need to talk about this. Erebus. So Erebus has been, she's amazing. She's been putting Erebus throughout the books, but we just didn't know who or what this person was. And it alludes to order, it alludes to that person you don't know. Come to find out, Vera, her ancestor from a long time ago, who went through some serious trauma, which the book is really heavy on showing you that generational trauma and how it's passed. These are themes, sorry to go off, but these are themes that Tracy hits on the nail every single time. I'm here for it, Tracy. Thank you for putting racism, generational trauma, female prejudices, all of it, love, grief, all of these themes, and putting it into this beautiful world building, action-packed, magical land that you gave us. I'm here for it. I love you. All right. So yes. So we find out that Vera made a blood oath with the Shadow King himself, who has been disguising himself as Erebus. And only Bree knows this at this point, because she's been seeing him. She's been understanding Vera's story as she would walk and do her root crafting walk and things like that. And girl, I can't wait to uncover this Erebus. Like, this part, I know it's about to get super deep. And then at the end, she ends up saying, fine, I'll go with you, but under one condition. You save Chaos. You save Cell. You save my boo. No, I'm not gonna say boo yet, because Nick is still around. I don't know what's gonna happen. Who is she gonna choose? Love triangle, hello. We'll see who she ends up choosing. But so she's not willing to just let them do whatever they're gonna do with Cell, because now he's full-blown demonic and she doesn't want to lose Cell. So she ends up letting the Shadow King take her, as long as he takes Cell and brings, I guess, Cell to some type of school that he has for these half-bloods, maybe. I'm curious to find out. Oathbound will definitely be a lot. And we're going to find out a lot more about Erebus and about this Shadow King, and possibly even more about Vera. We did find out a lot about Vera in this Bloodmarked book, but I think that we definitely need to know a little bit more. It's because that Vera made that oath and said that he can clearly have one. So one of her future people. And of course, Bree is the most powerful, right? She has the King Arthur's scion. She has the root magic. And now we even see she has this dragon kind thing that's inside of her, which is like, we don't know where that's coming from. And so why wouldn't the Shadow King want her? And what's he willing to do for her? That's where the cliffhanger ends up, right? So the book ate it up. It was action packed. It was going, it wasn't a lot of downtime. It was all the way, things happening. And you just got a lot more time with a lot of characters, with Alice, with Cell, with William, less with Nick this time, which is okay, because I felt like in Legendborn, we did get a lot of time with Nick. And now we were able to solidify that squad. So there's always that squad, that friend group that are just A1, the main character's besties that she needs. And so I'm here for it. I love it all. All right. So that was a quick recap of Bloodmarked, and I hope you guys were able to enjoy it. I hope I talked about all of your favorite parts of the book. And if I did miss anything, or there's something you would love to discuss with me, please leave it in the comments. I'm totally here for it. That's exactly where I'm at, where I want to see. So if you guys want to join me in reading Oathbound, please leave a comment below. Also, I'm going to link my book club and my Goodreads account in the description. And of course, if you guys got this far in the video, please subscribe so I can give you guys more content. And please comment so I can know what you guys want to hear from me. And if I can talk about more stuff with you guys, that would be so exciting. Thanks. All right. Peace out, y'all. I'm out.